and welcome to the table. I'm Rachel. Grab a cuppa, grab some popcorn, or if you're Shona, grab some Tim Tams. Got that one. Just want to welcome you all to the show today. Today I've got Rachel here, I've got Melody, and I've got Shona. Thanks for being here, ladies.
We're excited.
Now, what I'm going to do is actually going to throw 3 topics at these ladies that they don't know about. They're going to be nice and quick. So we are going to start with the first one, which is daggy food confessions. So I know food comes in and out of fashion, but there's got to be some foods that we like that may not be fashionable on the menu anymore. Shona, I'm sure you still really like peas in mint jelly, yeah?
No, mine would... I'm just thinking KFC.
That's still in fashion.
Yeah. I don't know.
But, you know, you have smashed avocado and you've got your turmeric lattes and all sorts of things that come in and out.
Turmeric latte?
You've not heard of that?
Oh, no, that doesn't sound
I feel so lost because my American ears are not understanding half the words in the conversation. You lost me on daggy and you lost me on mint jelly.
Oh, yeah. I think that was an Australian thing. I remember that from my mum's generation. So some foods that you would like brought back in, you know? Because for me, I was always disappointed when bruschetta went off the menu. You know, it's not as common as it used to be, and I really like it.
fashion?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. Queen puddings and self-raising chocolate puddings and... bread and butter pudding with custard all over it.
That goes out of fashion?
That sounds like there's a restaurant
reason.
Oh, restaurant menus, okay.
It sounds like why there's a reason why it should go out of fashion.
Oh, no. Have you tried it?
Well, that shouldn't be served in a restaurant, I agree, but definitely at home. That's like a home food, you know?
Okay, so the next one we've got is... Well, I guess we're moving on from old food, aeroplane food. We're moving to aeroplanes now. There's a Daily Telegraph reporting that you should actually keep the air vents on when you're flying. You know, that cone of protection apparently saves you from airborne diseases.
But doesn't the air vent just
circulate them?
Yeah, doesn't it just
I'd be filtered, though.
It would be filtered,
yeah.
but they're saying, you know...
Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit weird. I can't stand it, any air on me, so I've always turned it off and just, you know, taken in the disease.
Oh, well, wait till you get to the pressure cooker stage of life and you'll have everything blasting at you at full speed.
Do you have any flying quirks that you're going to share with me?
My quirk is having people on either side of me.
Oh, so you're not an aisle seat person?
I think you want people
I just want the whole thing to myself.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
my quirk.
Right. Oh, yeah, fair enough, because flying's
Having
tight.
to share.
Mine's, I like to take my shoes off.
Yeah?
But then I do
But
wear
that's
them.
in a... yeah, just make sure... Are they thongs or are we talking shoes that have been on for a while that...
It depends. Do you have the vent blowing on you?
Yeah, okay, fair call. Okay, and my third one is in New Zealand, Prime Minister Bill English had an interview on radio and he was asked a question...
Now, don't knock the Kiwis here.
Not knocking. He was asked a question, why does he go by his second name, Bill, or William, as opposed to Simon, which is his designated first name? Do many people go by their first or second names? Because it seems a bit odd that you'd name someone a name but then use another name for them.
Well,
Do you know
maybe
what I mean?
his father had the same name and so you had to distinguish between who the two of them were.
They're both names, right? So...
Yeah, I know. I just can't work out why you...
I think probably, like, if you don't get to choose what your parents call you, then you just choose the name that they gave you that you like. So, like, oh, I don't like the first one, so I'll just go with the second one.
Yeah, I guess you can do that as you get older, hey? But
I did that for Jax. Like, I figured if he didn't like that name, we gave him 2 others and he can choose.
2 others? Wow, I've got 1. So I think you should be grateful if you got a couple of names.
In Singapore, we don't even have first names, middle names. We
Middle
just
names.
have your English name and your Chinese name.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fair enough. Makes it easier.
So
Well, he did confess, and this is the bit where I dropped my jaw, that he was number 10 out of 12 kids.
Whoa.
So maybe they had a few double up in names. Oh, look, I can only imagine that he had fights in his family. There was some sibling rivalry, but we do know that it all started way back with Cain and Abel, and it hasn't stopped since. So, how much sibling rivalry is there in your family? And Shona, I'll go to you first because, well, you've got
always me.
It always starts when there's the second one comes home. So that's why
we don't have,
first.
yeah.
Was it like a beautiful, peaceful home all the time, Shona?
Oh, my place?
Yeah.
Sure. No.
How did you cope when you brought the second one home?
Well, I suppose we're a bit different because our first one was quite ill, so there was quite a lot of toing and froing. But now that they're both healthy, strapping young men, there's stacks of fighting.
So it hasn't stopped?
No, and I don't think it ever will.
Oh, don't say that.
Kind of similar to Shona, my brother was quite sick growing up, so I kind of felt like his nurse and I want to go and take care of him. But I did do some bad things where I kind of would run ahead of him when he couldn't chase after me. I feel embarrassed to say that. But yeah, we didn't really have rivalries because I thought he was my shining star until I realized that he was lying about half of the things.
So the star was a bit dull after that.
My brother did that. I was talking to my sister this week, and my brother would really subtly just do stuff, and she would overreact, and she would be the one who'd get in trouble, and he would just walk away, you know? Oh, you little...
I used to call my brother a spoiled brat, but then he couldn't understand the word bread, and so he's like, I'm not bread.
Oh, spoiled bread.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm fresh. But yeah, so yeah, it's just, we did have a bit of, I don't know if it's rivalry, it was just, there was a bit of wanting him in my life, but yet at the same time it was like, I like to be the only child kind of thing. We're really close now, though. I do love you.
That's the thing.
my
When you
brother.
grow up, you tend to be closer. But, like, there was 4 in my family, so I was one of 4. So I remember fighting with all of my siblings. But my older sister, there's 8 years between her and my younger sister, and they don't remember ever fighting. So I'm wondering, is it the kids who are closer in age? Is it just a pecking order thing? Like, do they just have to work out their pecking order? Is that it?
What about your daughters? Because they're pretty close in age.
My older 2 certainly fight a lot more. The youngest one, man, she's... I was telling you this before. She's clever. She antagonises both of them, and they both go running. So
Do you think that there's a bit of favouritism from the parents? Do you think that's what could be causing the sibling rivalry?
I'm sure there's something to it in a lot of families, and if I'm honest, I will probably say yes, because some of my daughters are easier to manage than others. Is that a nice way of saying it?
Yes.
Yeah, some are easier to manage, but I guess it is up to us to make sure that because I guess kids feel things more acutely than we probably realise or our intentions are. I don't know, I'm guessing that's how it is.
Yeah.
So... But I've often spoken to only children, and they have said, I've never understood why siblings fight so much.
Yeah,
They don't get it.
Yeah, because my 2 quite often say, Joshua will say to me, oh, you know, it's all Aaron's fault and he's your favourite. And I'm like, well, no, actually, he's not my favourite. I love you both, but in very different ways, because Joshua, like yours, is very, how do you put it nicely? You have to be gentle when you're around Joshua.
You approach them in different
ways.
They can probably take it differently.
Yeah.
We just need to be more aware, I think,
Yeah.
of how we're doing
You probably think one of them is always the one who's starting things.
it. Yeah.
Oh, well, and you're normally always right.
Oh, look, I'm just glad I've got my oldest one there who often helps out. She's pretty good, I can't complain. She does the eldest child well.
Does she?
She does. Well, look, I took out my youngest recently to the beach. We went out and about and we had an amazing time. Check it out. It's a cold day and the kids are going stir crazy. It's time for the beach. Just because it's too cold to swim doesn't mean you can't have fun at the beach. I mean, for starters, this is the world's largest sandpit. Remember, it's usually windier on the coast than it is inland. So bring warm clothes for you and your kids. Think layers. And it can get quite windy, so if you don't want to be up all night with your child who might have an earache, bring along a hoodie or a beanie. Bucket and spade, an old favourite. But if you don't have one lying around the house, have a look around for some old stuff that you might have, like an ice cream container or some disposable cups. They make great sandcastles too. Oh, look at that! There you go, lift it off. Ah, look at your castle! The beach can have lots of rocky areas to explore where you can find crabs and sea anemone and all types of marine life. Just be careful though. Number 1, the rocks can get quite slippery. And number 2, it's not unusual for a big wave to come along and knock unwary people off their feet. So keep an eye on the ocean and don't get too close to where those waves are breaking. Another thing that's fun is good old-fashioned beach combing. There are all kinds of interesting things washed up on the beach, particularly after high tide or when there's been a storm. If your kids need a bit of extra motivation, give them a challenge. For example, how many different kinds of shell can they find? Remember that everything your child brings back to show you is a priceless treasure, for at least 5 minutes anyway. Take some time to have a good look and ask your child about it. The real treasure will be the time you spend together exploring the world. Well, we have had a great day, but good times.
Puberty is the name given to the changes in a person's body as they make the transition into adulthood. For girls, this process begins at around age 11. For boys, it's around 13. So boys are usually shorter than girls until they're 14 to 15. Class photos do look a little funny with girls towering the boys. Around the world, puberty is marked in different ways. In Sri Lanka, it's gifts, parties, and a ceremonial bath. In Ghana, Africa, it's wearing beads and certain clothes. In Japan, it's girls in kimonos and boys in suits. And in Indonesia, it's filing down teeth. Ouch. In the 1800s, however, the age of puberty was different. Girls often didn't begin puberty until 15 or older. And for boys, it was around 17. Now, girls are entering puberty as young as 9, with boys not far behind. Why? Some scientists say it's because of richer diets, or maybe chemicals in our environment. The combination of earlier puberty, longer education, and later marriage has produced a bunch of brand new words and concepts, including teenager and dating. So if you're a parent with a teenager, love them lots, have fun, and hold on for the ride.
Definitely hold on for the ride. Well, I'm really pleased to introduce our next guest. It's Dr. Patricia Wirakun. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's great to be here again.
Yes, again, thank you. You've been here before. You're a sexologist. You've written
Correct.
books. You're an author. You're a Christian. You love your God. You love your sex, and you seem to have joined them together in a career.
I love that. Love God and love sex. What else do you need in life?
I can think of a couple of things. That's pretty good. Now, today we want to talk about some of your new books. Last time you were here, we talked about, I think it was Teen Sex by the book, which is something you'd written, but you've aimed the books now at a younger audience.
Correct.
Why are we talking to kids at such a young audience? And we're talking kids 7 to 10,
7
11?
to 10.
Why are we needing to talk to them at such a young age about this topic?
See, it's so important nowadays for us as parents and carers and even grandparents to understand the importance of what culture is exposing our young children to. So we're talking primary school. You know, you just have to look at the statistics. Today, the average age of porn exposure is 11 years. So average, which means we've got 7 and 8-year-olds
That's frightening.
watching porn. I have talked to 9-year-olds who think they are addicted to pornography.
Wow.
And we are seeing an increase of child-on-child sexualized behavior in primary school.
That's,
I've talked to preschool teachers who've told me that they're seeing sexualized behavior in preschool children.
And so this is because of the internet?
Many things. One is the internet. One is just the fact of the pornography being so readily available, even in comics and video games and Instagram and all the social media things just kind of seem to lead into pornography. And so it's just out there.
I'm just thinking it's very interesting because, you know, when we were all kids growing up, when we ever talk about sex or something like that, it's like, oh, that's disgusting, or we don't want to talk about it.
It's almost like a normal thing that kids do on a scale, isn't it?
Like, it seems like it's just something that they're attracted to now, instead of being repulsed by as we were when we were kids. Is that true?
But I think the point is, it's not that they're attracted to it. It's just that it has become normalized.
And easy to get.
Normalized and easy, but normalized in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Which is why we wrote the books. Because we want parents and carers and grandparents to be the ones who actually get in there early and give our kids knowledge and a God-based value foundation that they can build on.
So what are some of the things you talk about in your book?
You see, what we wanted to do was provide parents and carers with focused information. So everyone, we've got 6 books, and every one of them is focused on a particular objective. For instance, there's Me and My Body, which basically is about your body is significant to God. That's where your identity lies, not in what social media or your friends say. And then we have Me and My Family, which basically in today's world, kids are being faced with all sorts of family combinations. So we say, look, there's everything, but basically this is what the Word of God made you for.
Right.
And one man, one woman, children. That's what God. And then, of course, we've got Me and My Brain, which talks about, you know, the fact that you have feelings, but you don't have to live by your feelings. So there's a brain, and we talk about a feeling brain and a control brain or a thinking brain, and how you can develop your self-control. So those are the foundation books. And then we have 3 extension books, learning about sexuality, which is basically about everything about sex at an age-appropriate way. And then we have learning about pornography, which teaches kids just what to do if somebody shows them something or they come across it. And basically we say 3 things. Say this is not good, run away, and talk to someone, because that talking to someone is important. And finally, sadly, we have to start talking to children about gender. And really early, because our kids are being exposed to this whole plethora of gender terms and identities out there. And it is our responsibility to give them that God-focused biblical view.
Dr. Patricia, I was wondering, you said that the first 3 books were foundational, but they don't necessarily seem to address issues about sex. How are they really foundational to children understanding sex? So one was about family, about our body, about the brain. How does that relate to sex?
Because we need to understand my body is precious, my body is made to glorify the Lord Jesus Christ. And if I know that, if my body is so precious, then I won't use it in terms of a selfie or, you know, even in casual sexual activity. Same thing with the brain, self-control, developing that thinking brain. And family is the basis of everything. And that's where we start.
And how are kids responding to these books?
The parents are telling me that they're having a wonderful time. I had one parent say she bought it intending to start reading it with the kid, but she took it and her 7-year-old son read the whole thing himself over the weekend. And then he went up to Dad and said, I know what genitals are.
Nice.
How gorgeous.
Sorry, can I just quickly ask you one more question? And I'm hoping it's not too long an answer. But when you talk to kids at such a young age about this topic, is there any detrimental effects? Because we haven't, I guess, in past generations talked about it at such a young age. Is there any negative implications?
None at all. The research says the earlier you start talking, especially if it's a parent or a trusted adult, those children will put off having sex and be confident to come to you later on.
Nice. Well,
Wow,
look,
that's
thank you so much for talking to us about this. We really appreciate your time. You've got these books. Definitely jump onto, I was going to say, we'll put the details on our website, and you can also buy them at Koorong as well. So definitely check them out if you've got kids in that age bracket. Dr. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
We'd love
you
you to
so
stick
much.
around for another topic if you're happy to do that.
I'll stick around with you.
We are shifting gears a little bit. So recently there was a lovely, lovely story about a female proposing to her boyfriend. Now, for years and years, it's always been the guy proposing to the girl, popping the question. It's still a little bit uncommon for the female to do it, but not only did she pop the question, she decided since she asked the question, she should then be the one to buy the ring herself and choose it. So, what do you think?
So against this idea.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
I thought it was interesting that you were saying it was a lovely, lovely story.
Well, isn't any proposal a lovely story?
I mean, could be.
So hold on a minute, though.
Yes, yes,
Hold
yes.
on a minute. We bang on here about, you know, equal rights and, you know, gender equality and everything else. Why is this wrong? If she
I
wanted
didn't say
to marry...
it's wrong, but it's just not what I would do.
That's
I guess
right.
all of the popular kind of advice I got when I was a kid, and the advice from older women, was that women tend to love men more than men love them. So that you
Really?
need to... I'm just saying what the older ladies told me. That's what the older ladies told me.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm surprised, but keep going.
Yeah, they were saying basically that you should make sure that the guy is really interested because like you can move ahead of him, you know. And I just think that maybe why didn't he? I think if a man is interested, he would have proposed to her. And it says within the article he was actually upset that she had moved so quickly because he was planning some stuff for her. So she's already kind of like flipping things from the way, in my opinion, the
Well,
way that they
it's
should be.
tradition, but do we have to go by tradition simply because it's just tradition?
I don't think it's just because of tradition. I think that there's a reason behind it. I think that women are more prone to love. They're more prone to be expressive. And I think that she in some way moved ahead of her man in this way, you know, and I think you might see some of the results of that later in their relationship.
Interesting you talk about tradition, because if you come from countries like where I come from, Sri Lanka, true tradition is an arranged marriage, right? Where neither of them actually has anything to say. So, you know, when you talk of romance, both feel romance. But what we are seeing is that women are more likely to want commitment, while men are more likely to want, well, fun.
Yes.
So,
Sex.
Just say it.
I was being
She did say in the article they had been going together for 6 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, fair call, lady.
Yeah.
commitment.
Oh, hey, 7 years here before Daniel proposed to me.
And-
But I waited.
You know, like she also said that she was going to buy the ring, and when we got engaged, we had money that we were putting together to save for a deposit of a house and all the rest of it. So we purchased the ring together. So what's the difference? I mean, she's getting what she wanted.
Well, the ring purchase thing is the thing that was a bit interesting because it's like, well, even if she buys it, he buys it, in the end when you're married, it's going to be your money anyway.
Well,
so
But
I
in the
guess
beginning,
it's
it's his
for
money.
each couple to decide, and for their relationship. I guess each to their own, whatever works for you and works well. We're going to jump now into the kitchen with Gia and Olive. They've got something very yummy that I think your kids are going to love.
Hi.
Hi, we're making sushi balls.
Sushi balls, yes. Now, last night we tried to make the sushi rice and we stuffed it. Please follow the method on the back of the packet. And we've added 1 tablespoon of maple syrup and 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, and we've mixed it through. Here we go, it's already cooled down, ready to go. So it's just 1 sheet of nori and we've just roughly chopped it. Good work. Can you mix it through while Mummy cuts the avocado? And we are just going to make balls, like little balls with the avocado. Awesome, that looks really good. So it's ready to go. Are you going to help me make some little balls? What's this called?
It's watermelon scoop.
A watermelon scoop. Okay, so let's make 1 here and then you can make 1 as well. I'm going to make a couple of these balls. Can you make some more for me? So all you need to do is grab the sushi rice and flatten it in your palm, like that. It'll get a bit messy, but that's okay. That's what the kitchen's for. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to wet my hands. That's why all the rice is sticking to me. And I'm gonna try that again. Sorry, so flatten the rice, that's better. It's not sticking to me now. So flatten the rice and you put an avocado little ball in the middle and you get some more rice and make a little ball with it. And then we roll it in the sesame seeds. And so we got little sushi ball. And we can make more of that. And there you have it, your lunch ready for the kids. You can put it in the fridge and it lasts for a couple of days. Or you could just have it now, hey? You can try it for me. Good.
I reckon my kids would really like making that. Anything, you know, sensory and all that sort of stuff they
As long as
really
you remember
love.
to put water on your hands first.
Yes, good tip, Gia, very good. Okay, well, since forever, mums have been singing to their babies, whether they're happy and particularly when they're sad. I remember my great-grandmother singing to me when I was a little girl. But there's a company in the UK, Cow & Gate, who have commissioned 2 experts, a music psychologist and a child development officer, to put together a song that scientifically proves that you can have a happy song for a baby. So they hired Imogen Heap, who's a UK musician, and they've put together a song. Check this one out.
Ring, ring on the bicycle, beep, beep in the car. Ping, ping, a submarine, phew, phew, helicopter. A choo-choo train, an aeroplane, a wee down the slide. I just adore you every day more. Wherever
bobbing.
you.
Really?
It's a great marketing
Yeah, right.
tool.
I play the song to Elliot, and I know the words to everything.
Oh, do you already? Awesome. That's good. Well, it was a happy song, wasn't it?
Really?
Oh. Okay, Shona?
Less happy over here.
It's just a great marketing tool.
Well, it's for free for them, you know. There's...
Look, you know, I read some of the article behind this, and a lot of it, yes, there's science behind this whole music thing, but I think more of it was the fact that the parents were interacting with their children, they were down on the floor with them, playing with them, cuddling them, whatever.
I actually disagree because I was very, very skeptical. I was like, really, is this really going to make him happy? It does. Like, I played different songs, right? It was my own scientific experiment.
Right, yep.
And yeah, he reacted differently to the happy song. He actually, immediately he'll be like whinging or stuff. You play it and a smile comes up onto his face and everything.
So
Whereas I tried playing some other song.
There's probably some subliminal message
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like, be happy, baby, be happy, baby.
Well, okay, so it's scientific. There was some rules provided. So it had to be in a major key. It had to be simple and repetitive because parents love repetitive, right? Have an up-tempo. It had to mirror the baby's heartbeat, which was interesting. So they really did get into the science of it all.
A woman's voice as well.
Yeah, woman's voice
Well,
as
whose
well.
voice did they hear for 9 months most of the time?
Yeah, mums.
My bosses.
Yeah, look, I thought it was nice. I played it to my 4-year-old and she actually really liked it. It sort of made her happy, but...
How
really-
happy were you after hearing it for the 20th time?
Yeah, well, it was the repetitive thing, but that's with every song, isn't it, you know? Or is that just me who's a bit of an intolerant mum?
No, I remember a song that was like the song that never ends.
Oh, man, don't start. Yeah, no.
It's in my head now. I'm sorry.
Oh, look, I think it's a nice gesture that they did, but I'm with you, Shona. Like, I read Psychology Today magazine online and they were saying that there's no substitute for mum's real voice and that interaction that you get. So I'm sorry, we're not quite off the hook yet.
But play it. It does work.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If you've got a crying baby.
I think anything. Like, I know the songs that I sang for my boys when I was trying to get them to sleep or stop crying or whatever, and I think it was the lulling pitch of my singing voice that go to sleep.
Anything to get them to sleep. Nothing nicer than a sleeping baby. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us today. We've really loved having you with us. I just want to share with you something a little bit exciting. We've got our second magazine coming out at the table that's been put together, and there are some really good-looking people on the front. Hey, Melody. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, if you wanted to grab that, jump onto our website. You can subscribe there or hit our Facebook, our social media, onto our Instagram. You can follow. Everything's there for you to do. Ladies, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm actually pretty excited to be flipping through this, and it was a Father's Day edition, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Father's Day. Oh, and it's free.
It's
as well,
free.
so
Did I mention it was
That's
free?
very important.
Yeah, free. So, yeah, absolutely. Jump onto our social media, our website, anywhere where you can get this magazine for free. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you next time. There is always room at the table. Bye.